Hey everyone, and welcome to the keynote for INIT, the 2022 MLH season kickoff. For those of you who don't know me yet, I'm Swift. I've been a member of this community since the second ever student hackathon, and I'm not exaggerating when I say joining it changed my life. Since that day, more than a decade ago, I made it my job to tell the world what it means to be a hacker and empower anyone to become one. That's why 8 years ago, I founded Major League Hacking. We're a public benefit corporation, or B Corp, that has a mission, and it's all about you. And that mission is to empower hackers, to inspire and equip our next generation of technologists, to help them build the skills and the network that they need to bring their ideas to life and to tackle whatever challenges the world throws at them. And as a community, we've been extremely successful in the pursuit of that mission. But before I tell you about it, I want to tell you a story. It's actually my story. You see, I didn't start out wanting to be a hacker. I actually wanted to be a lawyer. Back in high school, I'd been running a small landscaping company. And when the time came for me to go off to university, I realized I was going to need a new job. After all, you can't bring a lawnmower to a dorm room. So I did what any enterprising young university student would do. I went on the job board for my school, sorted the jobs by how much they paid, and applied for every job that paid the most. Of course, it was a terrible strategy, and no one wrote me back, except for one company. And after reading their email, I thought, surely this must be some kind of mistake. They'd invited me to come in and interview for a programming job, but I'd never programmed before in my life. Thanks to some encouragement from my friends and family, I decided to go in and take the interview. And to my surprise, they hired me. I literally learned the code on the job, and I was the only programmer employed there. But I still didn't want to be a hacker. Now, fast forward 2 years, and a friend of mine found out I programmed. He came running to my room, burst through my door, and said, "Dude, I'm going to this thing called a hackathon. You have to come with me." I'd never heard of hackathons before, but the way he described them, it was going to be an invention contest where developers, designers, makers, and technologists of all kinds would come together to bring their ideas to life over the course of 24 hours. I couldn't believe it. When I walked into that room at NYU, my eyes were open. I found a room full of technologists who cared about the same things I did. Now, I spent the entire next 24 hours building an app that was a mashup of Facebook and Dropbox. It was going to be a file sharing network for you and all your friends. And funny story, at the end of that hackathon, I couldn't even demo my project. I locked myself out of it. But the next day, I went home, I looked myself in the mirror, and I said, forget about being a lawyer. I want to be a hacker. And that day I switched my major to computer science and I set my goal of becoming a software engineer by whatever means necessary. But after attending a few computer science classes, I quickly realized that the things they teach you in class aren't actually the things you need to be employable as a software engineer. There's a lot of theory and a lot of things that help you once you have the job. But the ability to solve problems, I was getting that at hackathons every single weekend. And in fact, those hackathons, that's what led to my first internship, to my first full-time job, and it's what got me here today, too. Now, back when I got my start, we were lucky to have a hackathon every 6 months to go to. And at the time, I used to think my story was pretty unique. But as I started going to more and more hackathons, I started to notice something. There were a heck of a lot of people out there who also had their lives changed by this community, who also found their talent, their friends, and their mission here. And in fact, that story is so ununique that today we have nearly 500,000 community members worldwide. That's 500,000 hackers who've had their lives changed, who are changing the world every single day. That's huge. And knowing the scale of that community is important. But it's also important to keep in mind that every one of those 500,000 hackers has a story just like mine. And today, I want to tell you 3 of those stories that inspired me in the last year, and I hope they'll inspire you too. First, meet Ebtesam Al-Haq. Ebtesam got her start in tech when she went off to university. She moved to Bangladesh to attend the best university in the region. And she was very excited to be studying in a country where her parents were originally from. And when she got there, the reality of being a woman in tech, it hit her hard. She was among the first women to attend her school, which had been an all-boys school until 2017. There was this pervasive feeling from her male classmates that women didn't belong in tech. And on top of that, she faced cultural issues, and it made her unable to attend hackathons and to level up her skills. And see, in Bangladesh, like many parts of the world still, women aren't allowed outside of the home to walk around after sunset, let alone staying overnight in a mixed-gender venue. So hackathons were just off the table for her. Now, the shift to digital events from COVID actually benefited her greatly. Now, she was able to hack and have the same experience as her male counterparts, without having to worry about housing accommodations or safe transportation or any of the other cultural norms that she was facing. She attended Hack DSC, one of the first virtual hackathons in the MLH season last year. She learned so much in such a short period of time and felt so welcome. She was hooked. Today, Ebtesam is heading to George Mason University to pursue her PhD, and she goes to a hackathon nearly every single weekend. She's won prizes at more than 40 hackathons to date. But more important than winning prizes, she's found a community where she belongs and gained valuable knowledge and experiences that she'll carry with her for the rest of her life. Now, when COVID hit at the beginning of last year, it was clear that this was going to be a challenging year for our community. Hackathons were canceled in droves, classes were a mess, and all told, nearly 40,000 people lost jobs and internships they'd been counting on from our community alone. We had no idea what was going to happen. But it ends up that despite a literal global pandemic, an unprecedented economic crisis, hackers came together to do exactly what they do best. The community brought the connections and the learning that had been happening in person online for the digital world without missing a beat. While everyone else was scrambling to figure out how to do digital events the right way, our community pioneered the best practices and shared them with anyone who would listen. More people joined the community than any year before during 2020, and we found new ways to empower hackers to learn, build, and share. Previously, the stars had to align for you to join our community. You had to know about an event, you had to have the time and the means to get there, and you had to have the confidence or the support of friends who would actually get you there in the first place. Today, anyone in the world can be a hacker, any day of the week, and that's powerful. But meanwhile, we couldn't recreate every element of in-person events. And I know that everyone, myself included, is hungry for them to return. Which brings me to my first announcement of the day. Starting this fall, you'll have the best of both worlds. Virtual hackathons and workshops are here to stay forever. MLH is committed to powering a virtual hackathon every weekend of the year indefinitely. This will allow new community members from regions that don't have access and hackers who come from less privileged backgrounds to join our community to learn, build, and share with the rest of us. Additionally, this fall, MLH will be back on campus with all the events you know and love. We'll be working closely with our organizers, schools, and the local health authorities to make sure it's safe for everyone. And we have the access to that same environment you've come to know and love. Now, whether you're hacking from cyberspace or the local engineering building, you'll be a part of the same MLH community you've always been a part of. You'll be able to find both digital and in-person events on the season calendar soon. Head over to mlh.io/events to find them. Now, I mentioned that before that all told about 40,000 hackers in our community lost jobs and internships that they were counting on. When we heard that last summer, we teamed up with our friends at GitHub, Facebook, Amazon, and so many more companies to launch a new program in response. is called the MLH Fellowship. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of it, the MLH Fellowship is a training program for aspiring technologists. Over the course of 12 weeks, you learn the skills you need to launch your career by collaborating on real-world projects using software engineering best practices. In the last year, we've graduated more than 500 fellows from the program, and the results are astounding. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear it from them.
The MLH Fellowship exists to help the next generation of software engineers start their careers. They'll work on a variety of projects which give them the ability and confidence to go and land a job.
It's been 3 months. I didn't even realize how fast it passed.
The fellowship is basically a bunch of people that are super into tech and super into building cool stuff and learning, most of all. And everybody in the program showed that.
We all went from open source consumers to open source contributors.
But what I took away from the program was so much more than just how to contribute. What I took away was this amazing sense of community.
I'm coming out of the fellowship, the Explorer Fellowship, with 3 amazing open source projects that can be real products in the real world today.
For while this fellowship might only last 3 months, I know its impact will last a lifetime.
MLH gives me this sense of one big family, which is, it's really a reason to smile every day, right?
I have to say, it was the most incredible experience. And the MLH Fellowship gave me the opportunity that I don't think I would have otherwise. I actually do feel more like a software developer today than I felt before.
Because it has given me this motivation and a huge portfolio that I can now present in front of potential employers.
After such rave reviews, the MLH Fellowship is clearly here to stay. Applications for the fall batch are open now, and we'll be opening applications for the 2022 spring and summer batches in August of this year. Head to fellowship.mlh.io to learn more and to apply. Now, let's move on to my next story. Meet Emily Nguyen. Her path into tech was not easy or obvious at all. See, Emily is transgender, and when she came out to her family, it was an incredibly difficult experience. Her aunt even told her that she would lose all respect in school, and it would be impossible for her to find a job when she graduated. She knew that tech still wasn't fully accepting of the LGBTQIA+ community, and this experience only exacerbated her fears. Luckily though, she couldn't have been more wrong. Emily found out about a nearby MLH Hackathon, SB Hacks, in 2018 after attending an event for her local hacker club. She signed up expecting to spend the entire event hacking by herself. But after her bus got stuck in about 8 hours of traffic on the way there, she quickly started forming friendships with other hackers. Emily finally felt like she was a part of a community that welcomed her, and from there, she was hooked on hackathons. Emily ultimately went on to start the largest tech organization in San Diego. It was with her former hackathon teammates too. Today, the club hosts more than 130 events a year for over 5,000 attendees. The members were so passionate about attending MLH hackathons across the country that they made it into the top 15 schools in the MLH season rankings that year. Now, going to hackathons and joining the MLH community, it changed Emily's life. Feeling so welcomed by our community made it much easier for Emily to accept herself. She gained the skills and the confidence that she needed to land 2 internships at Google. And now, she works there full-time as a software engineer. I'm incredibly proud of the diversity of our community. And while gender is only one metric, last year more than 40% of our community identified as non-male. That's more than twice as diverse as a typical computer science classroom. And we see similar gains in areas like race and ethnicity, socioeconomics, geography, major educational background, and so much more. And hackers love working in a diverse and welcoming environment. But don't take my word for it either. Let's hear it straight from them.
How have MLH hackathons impacted my life?
So I was introduced into the hacker community back in 2014.
We were in the middle of the pandemic. The campus was on complete lockdown and academic activities were suspended.
I didn't know that there was a way to combine both my interests in medicine and technology, so I signed up super quick and I had a really great time at the hackathon.
MLH showed me that the hacker community is as diverse as the world and celebrates that diversity.
The fact that I was able to hop on a bus knowing no one and come back from a single weekend, having made lifelong friends, was just something really, really special.
Honestly, it was one of the best things that could possibly happen to me. It was definitely the highlight of my 2020.
Attending that hackathon was one of the best decisions I've made.
You can use computer science and leverage it to build technical parts that can reach other people and impact other people in a positive way.
Through MLH, I've had the opportunity to attend gender diverse hackathons as well as help organize.
I love the stickers, swag, the community, and just the projects that people are working on.
My network has helped me land so many interviews, and my hackathon projects are almost always the primary talking point.
It really, really helped me become a better person, better programmer, better everything basically. Had a very huge impact on my life, and it still does.
As you can tell, the MLH community is one of the most welcoming communities out there. That's because local leaders and organizers behind all of the events in the MLH network, just like Emily, care about making their events just as welcoming and diverse as I do. If you're thinking about starting your own community, you're running one and want to make it even better, or you just want to organize a great hackathon, you should join us this year at HackCon. HackCon is MLH's annual conference for organizers and community leaders. Now, it's not a hackathon, but you'll learn the best practices around organizing one, and you'll get to connect with other community leaders from around the world to hear their stories firsthand. We also have a ton of content around leading a diverse and welcoming community, so you can learn best practices and bring them back to your local community too. Now, the event is virtual, and it's taking place from August 14th to 15th, and you can learn more and register at hackcon.mlh.io. Whether you're a hacker or an organizer, we know that you love telling people you're a part of the MLH community too. What better way to do that than with the official MLH season swag? Every year we create a new mascot that you'll see all over the world at MLH events. They follow the letters of the alphabet and have an animal and a hackery theme to each of them. 2 seasons ago, we had Ducky the debugging duck. Last season, we had Ellie the electric elephant. Were any of you able to guess who our season mascot will be this year? Well, meet Frankie the file ferret. She's your 2022 MLH season mascot. Frankie will appear on masks, t-shirts, stickers, and a whole bunch of other MLH swag that you can earn by attending MLH hackathons this season. Personally, I think she's our most adorable mascot yet, and I can't wait to get my hands on some Frankie swag. You can grab some at hackathons starting this weekend, and maybe even here at INIT. So let's move on to my final story. Meet Jarrell Thomas. Jarrell grew up in Riverside, California, and he's from a blue-collar family. He always had a strong interest in electronics, taking apart whatever he could find from a very young age. And when that interest continued into high school, his parents encouraged him to become a mechanic, just like his biological father. And since his high school didn't offer any coding classes, that wasn't even really in consideration for Jarrell or his family. But that all changed when he overheard someone mention MLH offhand a few months into his first year of trade school. The local hacker club at the University of California, Riverside was hosting an event called Local Hack Day. They described the event as one location in a worldwide celebration of hacking. And they were excited to bring together the local community to join in on the fun. Jarrell had never heard of MLH or hackathons before, but after attending the event, he fell in love with the community and started going to every MLH hackathon he could find. Jarrell eventually graduated, and he did find a job as a mechanic, but he kept going to hackathons on the side. He never gave up on that passion. His new computer skills actually led to him fixing the shop's computer one day, and his manager took notice. He said, "Why are you working here when you're so good with computers?" At that moment, a light bulb went off for Jarrell. Since then, Jarrell went back to school at Florida Tech to get his computer science degree, and he now works at Twilio as a support engineer. Despite his early interest in technology, Jarrell's path to success was not easy or obvious. It was joining the MLH community that showed him he had the skills and gave him the confidence to pursue that passion. Jarrell, like nearly 25% of hackers last year, got his start at Local Hack Day. It's consistently been one of the most important events of the year, It's an opportunity to bring together experienced and beginner hackers alike to celebrate hacker culture, to learn, build, and share with the entire community. And in fact, we're now running 3 local hack days a year, each one modeled after learning, building, or sharing. And I'm excited to announce that Local Hack Day is back for the 2022 season. From October 10th to 18th, we'll be learning all kinds of new skills that we can use in the year ahead at Local Hack Day Learn. Then, on January 9th to 17th, we'll put those skills into practice, building amazing projects at Local Hack Day Build. And finally, we'll show the world what we've accomplished by sharing our progress at Local Hack Day Share from April 3rd to 11th. We expect this to be the biggest and best set of Local Hack Days ever, and we can't wait to see you there. Which brings me to my final announcement. You heard 3 amazing stories today. They all inspired me in the last year, and I sincerely hope they inspired you too. Ebitessam, Emily, and Jarrell are all amazing community members that we want to celebrate at MLH. But they're just 3 of thousands of amazing stories that deserve to be told. And while we can't possibly tell them all, every year we do our best to highlight a few of the most inspiring stories that we encounter. It's called the MLH Top 50. The hackers, organizers, and sponsors on the list are nominated by the community to be recognized for their achievements from the previous year. And all 3 of the hackers you met earlier were winners of the 2021 MLH Top 50. And now you can go online to top.mlh.io to meet the other 47 winners too. We asked a few of them to share some words of wisdom with the community. So let's pass things over to my co-founder, John, to hear what they had to say.
I'm John, Swift's co-founder here at MLH. We are so excited to share the MLH Top 50 class of 2021. We asked them what advice they had to share with first-time hackers, and here's what they had to say.
Do not be afraid to go in with 0 programming knowledge or just a little bit of programming knowledge. I went to plenty of my first hackathons with not a lot of information on how to code, what this technology was, what they were talking about. Don't be afraid of that and don't be deterred.
It is crucial to understand that while winning a prize at a hackathon feels great, a prize is not actually the greatest thing that you can take back from a hackathon. A hackathon ideally will push you to rocket past your own limits of knowledge and creativity, right? Because if you're sitting at a hackathon and you're trying to work on a new idea and you're getting creative, you're gonna have to end up pushing your own barriers of knowledge.
It's a really special thing when you're stuck at 2 a.m. with what seems to be an insurmountable bug, and instead of just giving up and going to bed, you learn to lean on the people around you, to lean on your mentors, to lean on the other teams, to lean on your own team members, and to work together to solve that bug.
Ultimately, going on a whim to a hackathon in Quebec, I don't even speak French, is what landed me with a full-time job, the chance to move countries, and just the chance to kind of start life in a really, really cool place after graduation. And so if something looks cool, dive straight in.
I want to congratulate all the winners. You have so much to be proud of. Each of your stories is inspiring in its own way, and I promise I'll do everything I can to tell them in the year ahead. Again, head over to top.mlh.io if you haven't already to see the full list and read their stories in detail. With that, I want to thank you all once again for joining us at INIT, the 2022 MLH season kickoff. Thank you so much for being a valuable part of our amazing community. It's a privilege to serve you every day, and I can't wait to see what you accomplish in the year ahead. Thanks everyone. I'm Swift. Happy hacking.
Hey folks, how's it going? I'm just realizing I was muted, which is not great. Not great, team. Totally fine though. Excited to have everyone here for Q&A. We will start taking questions on all of the awesome announcements we just went through here. So if you've got anything, drop it for us in chat. Anything that we're most excited for among the team here while we wait for questions to roll in? Not the mascot? Yeah, come on. I was like, surely it's the mascot, right?
There's some hype on the mascot for sure.
It totally is for me. Oh.
I'm trying to take the comments off.
Let's see here. What do we have for questions? When will member events be announced? We're working actively right now to add member events to our calendar. I actually know that our league team interviewed 2 events, our first 2 that have been fully approved today. I don't think they're getting added to the website today, but I know they're in the pipeline. So come and check back over the coming weeks here, and we'll definitely have more events there. Good question on LHD here as well. Will LHD be online or in person? So we're not fully ready to commit to this yet, but as we kind of move along here this season, we're going to be making a decision. We're likely going to keep some digital component of local hack day, just like Swift announced in relationship to our hackathons. So you can expect to join local hack day digitally, but for those of you who are really excited to have physical local hack days again in the future, we do want to bring that opportunity back to you if it's safe to do it in your location as well. And I'm going to pull our Q&A off stream here, so it's just the 3 of us. See how that looks. Great.
Okay. Yeah. Switch was getting cut off with every question we pulled up. Swift, do you want to take this one and talk a little bit more about the hybrid events?
Yeah, I think I'm really excited about this. You know, I think, as I mentioned in the keynote, moving to digital events for the pandemic was kind of a blessing in disguise, right? Like, we now enable anyone in our community, no matter where they're located in the world, to be able to join it, irrespective of whether they, knew about the event with enough time, had the means to actually be able to get there, and whether they had the friends or confidence to be able to get them to show up in the first place. But I think that kind of the strategy we'll be using at MLH is we are committing to having a virtual event every single weekend of the year of some kind. Mostly that'll be member event hackathons, but we also have local hack days, events like INIT, and so on down the line. The in-person events, it's going to be dependent on where you are, and our priority is making sure that everybody stays safe and healthy out there. So we're going to be working very closely with the local organizers, administrators, and health authorities. But I would expect initially to see some combination of hybrid events that are both physical and have a virtual component to them as well. And then long term, I think it'll move back towards being primarily in person is my guess here. But we'll be accepting applications for member events on both sides, and again, using those kinds of criteria around health and safety to approve them.
For sure. I'm going to take a quick question here on Frankie Swag, and then I've got another one for Swift. But John, CEO, or listen to me, co-founder of MLH, asking about Frankie Swag. Believe it or not, if you're attending INIT this week, you will be getting some Frankie Swag in the mail for us. We have new season stickers that are coming your way, and I think because you're participating in INIT, we'll hook you up with some extra stickers as well. Don't want to reveal anything yet, but you'll get some extra stuff in there as well for sure. I saw another good question in here. Let me see if I can find it again. Here's one. When in-person events resume, will we have HackCon or similar events in APAC, or especially India for us? Swift, do you want to take that one?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, I think this has got to be my last question, but you'll all be in the very capable hands of Ryan and Mary. But yeah, absolutely. MLH is a global community, and we are committed to having a presence in all of the regions we currently support, and even more in the future. When it is safe for us to return to in-person events in regions like APAC, we will do so. And we do plan to be doing a ton of community building once that is safe to proceed with. I think we'll see a HackCon style event, as well as some other physical events that MLH is putting on in those regions over the year or so ahead here.
Awesome.
Well,
I know you have to run here, so we appreciate you joining us, and catch you next time.
Of course, and thanks everybody for tuning in. And again, you're in the very, very capable hands of Ryan and Mary, who know many more answers than I usually do. Everybody, thanks for coming out.
Thanks, Swift. Bye.
All right. Well, now that he's gone, I did see a question actually that I want to take a second on. Someone asked if we could see the mascot again, and if y'all give me a second to just get my other screen set up here, I'm actually happy to do that. All right.
And did anyone catch that we updated the INIT website during the keynote to have our new mascot?
All right, folks. So if you are on init.mlh.io, you have an announcement here for the mascot and for the top 50. Those both link out. I know a lot of people are very excited about those desktop wallpapers and phone wallpapers we had as well. I just want to point out that Vic added one more for y'all, this adorable one with a couple of different ferrets in the folder down here. So plenty of good stuff. and then I will actually pull up the full mascot for you all as well. Pardon me. Go back here. Bam. And we'll zoom out a little bit, perhaps.
Oh, I love this mascot so much.
There you go. See if we can get that even farther. There you go.
There we
Frankie, our file system ferret here. So looking good there. We'll leave that up on screen as we take some other questions.
I feel like every year we just, like, our mascots get better and better, and I don't think that we can top it, but somehow we do.
Yes. We have Shreeman asking, who does the website design? Victoria, or Vic does all of our graphic and web design stuff. She's awesome. She's amazing. She makes all sorts of really awesome drawings. Any of our hosted by MLH digital hackathons are her work as well. So make sure to give her a shout out. She does awesome work, and we love to see it here. I know
I was going to just call out, I know she's going to be participating in our design and outfit for Frankie mini event that's happening later in INIT. Yeah. Did you have another question you want to pull up?
Yeah, actually, I think this is a great one. Do you mind answering this one? I feel like as a member of the league team, you've probably got the better context here.
Yeah, so in-person hackathons are a ton of fun. When we started transitioning onto virtual ones, most of what we based them on was our in-person events. So you'll probably see a lot of similarities if you go to one. So typically run by hacker groups at local universities. Sometimes those groups will find an on-campus venue, but most of the time it's going to be on campus. Most are pretty easy to join. Of our 180 events we usually do, there's usually a very small subset that does any sort of application process that doesn't allow everyone into the event. Most events virtually anyone can sign up to and go to. And they're hosted very similar to an online event in that you'll go to some sort of opening ceremony in a big auditorium. You'll go and grab a table or find a spot to hang out with your team. You'll hack with them. There'll be workshops and mini events, but in person instead. And then at the end, you'll demo your hack. And usually that looks like a science fair style demo session where you stand with your project and show it off as judges go around. So that is my very short version of what an in-person MLH hackathon looks like.
For sure. I see a couple more questions here, so we're going to blast through these. Were there any close guesses for the mascot? There were actually, all of the components were guessed. So someone did guess Frank and Frankie. I think they spelled it with a Y though. Someone did guess ferret, and multiple people guessed file system. And actually multiple people guessed ferret for that matter as well. No one had the full combination though. So no one's getting the full mega bonus points. We will definitely give out some bonus points to people who are close though. So awesome to see everyone participating. And honestly, my favorite part about the guesses, lots of you guessed other mascots we were thinking about doing. We do a full process, and there were plenty of other guesses that were fully accurate for other versions of mascots we were thinking. So it's cool to see.
Flamingo out there. Yeah.
Yes.
I really like this question. This isn't as directly related to some of the other things we've been talking about. This hacker asked, "This is my first hackathon. I was really nervous to enter since I had very little programming knowledge. How do I overcome this nervousness?" Ryan, do you have any tips on this?
It's a great question. I think it's something a lot of people in our community deal with, being nervous, feeling like an imposter. And ultimately, the best advice I can give you is listen, the hackathon community, especially the MLH member events, are so welcoming to beginners. And I went to my first event not knowing anything about how to code, and was able to talk with mentors, talk with other hackers, and write a project as a result of it. And I went to just a fairly standard hackathon. There are hackathons geared towards first timers and geared toward beginners specifically. And if you're really, really feeling nervous, I think looking into one of those options is great. But ultimately, it's just kind of a hurdle you gotta push yourself through. And trust me, the other side's going to be very welcoming to you. So we'd love to have you come join us at one.
100% agree. Said beautifully, Ryan.
Thank you. When is the pre-fellowship results coming? Mary and I do not work on the fellowship team, so we don't have a great answer for you here. I know earlier, I think Aaron said that you should hear back about any of your interviews after about 5 days or so. But if anyone on the fellowship team is in chat, they can correct us here if we're wrong about that.
And
great question.
No, go for yours.
Great question here. I think what they're implying here is, are member event hackathons open for non-students also? This varies a little bit from event to event. MLH member events have to have at least 80% students attending them. We typically target, student-run hackathons and student hackathons organized for students. But there are plenty of our events that allow recent graduates or allow professionals to join. You just need to read the rules for that specific hackathon. For all of our hosted by MLH events, you are welcome to join as a professional.
Mm-hmm. And we had a question, I'm not able to find it now, but it was about how to prepare for the fellowship. Ryan, do you have any specific tips on things you can do to kind of give it your best shot when you apply?
I think when you're applying for the fellowship, there's a couple of things that I'd recommend. I know the project that you submit, the code that you submit, is a big important piece of that. And I think the best thing I could recommend there is making sure you're going to be able to talk about all the code you wrote. I know a big part of that process is going through and like looking at the code and making sure that you can explain it and understand it, and explain it to someone else in particular. So I would just be mindful of that, be prepared for that. And then aside from that, standard interview tips, make sure you're, getting your good sleep the night before, that kind of stuff, eating well, coming in prepared for it. And, I think one of the things I like about the fellowship is that there's lots of feedback built into it. So even if you aren't successful in your first application to the fellowship, you can get some feedback from us and hopefully be successful the next time.
Yep. And we'll call out that you'll know your final results by July 16th.
Thank you, Will. Let's see what else we've got.
And Aaron gave a really good tip too. Passionate essay questions.
Thank you.
Or passionate essay question responses, rather.
Yes. How will we get our swag? Any process? Yes, there's of course a process. If you're on our INIT website here, if you go to challenges, and as long as you've registered for INIT, completed our swag form, and updated your address, these first three here, as long as you've completed those three and at least any 2 other challenges, you will receive some swag in the mail from us. We send it out post-event. I send it out on Monday. You'll actually get a little notification email from us that you're getting swag, so you'll know that you're getting it as well, which is great. I see Emily asking for a tour of the Top 50 site. I don't know that I'm fully qualified to give a tour, considering this is the first time I'm seeing the website, but I'm happy to click around on the Top 50 website. Let's see what we've got here. We've got lists, we've got nominations, and we've got an about here. Will Russell, the man, myth, the legend, right here. All of the fellows, listen to me. All of the Top 50 here. Great to see
Cecilia,
yeah. Jack.
I recognize a ton of people on here. Grace, Kelly, I know.
Yes, tons of
TJ.
awesome.
Oh, we saw TJ in the keynote.
Mm-hmm. Some information about nominations, and we've got an about as well. Letter from Swift here. Nice. Nice.
Very, very cool. I like the branding of Top 50.
Yes.
That fun, kind of like a fancier branding than we go for a lot of the time.
By when can we expect the swag? This is a great question as well. Particularly if you're international, India in particular is the one that we get a lot of questions about. It can take up to 2 months to receive your swag, if not a little bit longer than that, depending on how long it takes our team to pack it and get it sent out. With the Frankie swag in particular, I'm intentionally delaying it to try and get you as much swag as possible. So I'm just letting you know now, there's going to be a wait to get your Frankie swag, but I promise it's worth it so you get more of it is the objective here. We are deciding if we're doing face masks and things like that, and I want to make sure I'm able to get you as much swag as possible. So particularly if you're international, it can be up to 3 months. Let's see what else we've got here. I'm not actually seeing a ton of other questions here. If you've got other questions, post them in for us. Otherwise, we're happy to give you all a time refund. I know we've got another challenge or another live stream coming up in about 20 minutes. Is that JP coming up?
It's JP's surprise mini event, yeah.
That'll be fun. When can we start signing up for LHD? The sign-up pages are already live, as a matter of fact. I don't know that they're live on the INIT website yet, but we can do this together here. You can go to hackp.ac/learn2022, build 2022, and share 2022, and this should all be live. Let's verify that. Yes, and I'll post them in Twitch chat for folks as well.
Go sign up now. They're going to be a ton of fun. So many kind comments about Frankie.
And I'll post these to all 3 platforms as well, so people have them.
JP is awesome.
Oh, those did not space out well on any of the platforms. You might have to do a little bit of work, but that's all right. All 3 links are there for you. And for those of you who are wondering, you will get points at INIT. You'll get 1 point per local hack day you sign up for that you register early for. Happy to give you some points there to reward you.
Yeah. Ryan, do you want to show those wallpapers again?
Yeah, for the wallpapers, you're going to want to hit on Get Involved here. And then at the very bottom, you're going to see our Frankie one down here. And I think even on, I don't know if it's up yet, but I think we have a different image here with Frankie on it coming up at some point as well. I might be wrong about that. Very well could be wrong.
People already want to know if we're doing the INIT 2023.
So Swift and I had a disagreement on about if we should announce the dates for INIT 2023. I said we should. I said hackers are going to want to know. We are interested in doing an INIT 2023. We have two weeks potential for it. It's not the same week. It's going to be either 1 week later or 2 weeks later. So if you're looking to book your calendars now, it'll be one of those 2 weeks in July. So already the
of course there's memes about our next year mascot.
Yes, of course. I wouldn't expect anything less from y'all. Yeah. Should not be surprised.
What other questions do y'all have about the announcements? We can talk more about hybrid events, top 50.
Yeah, so first or second week that starts in July, correct? It's fully in July next year. And again, that's not finalized yet, but since y'all are passionate, I'm happy to give you a little bit of a preview there. So it'd either be July 3rd through the 11th, or it would be July 10th through the 18th are the 2 options, if I remember correctly off the top of my head.
What else do people want to know?
We might be good. We might be good.
We covered Switch covered everything so well that
totally fine with us.
Yeah, that's totally fine. People have gotten quite a bit of Ryan and Mary content today already. So
this is true. Yeah. Well, listen, what we'll do here is we will pop off stream. As always, we'll be in Discord shortly here. If you have questions, we're happy to take them there as well. We appreciate y'all joining us for it. I hope you're as excited about Frankie as we are. I think Mary and I both all week have been like, don't say it on stream, don't say it on stream, don't say it on stream. So it's nice to be, we can say it now. Frankie is the new mascot. We can get on that train with y'all.
Every single time y'all have started talking about the mascot, my inner dialogue is legitimately just me saying, okay, don't say Frankie, don't say Frankie, don't say Frankie. It's so hard. I've been nervous about it every day.
Yes, totally agree.
A weight off my shoulders.
100%.
Reminder, next stream. Okay, I'm gonna give you all a recap of the rest of the day. So we've got JP surprise mini event. We could reveal what the surprise mini event is if we wanted.
Yeah, I feel like we're 20 minutes out. We'll ask chat. Chat, do you want to know what the surprise is, or do you want to wait until JP is on?
So that's coming up at 2. Then right after we have a knit party with Jack. Then right after that we have Harshal with Explorer web scraping, and then you're gonna have about a 3-hour break. And Mara will be here with the knit party after party.
Yes, and then the thing we called out earlier, and we want to call it again. That tonight is kind of intentionally left open for you to either enjoy those weekend challenges or for you to do something with your guild. We wanted to make sure we had a gap in there for guild leaders to put together whatever amazing events that they want to put together. So you definitely have space to do that before the leaderboard update tomorrow. Everyone is saying they want to know what the surprise mini event is. So do you want to reveal what it is?
I'm going to give like 10 seconds for people to guess. This is a throwback to the very beginning of hosted by MLH Events. Does anyone remember what mini event was just very popular, and this was a JP exclusive mini
It was a
event.
JP exclusive. That's true.
I'm gonna give like maybe 5 more seconds. People think it's GeoGuessr. It's not.
I will not be there if that helps you all.
It's not cup stacking. We already did that. It's not Wiki Race. That's a good guess though.
It's a good guess.
Maybe let one more guess come in. I don't think
while we're
anyone's gonna get it.
While we're waiting here, good question. Actually, Happy Birthday, MLH, a hosted by MLH event coming up soon. Let's see if we can find it on the website real quick.
Yeah.
It marks our 8th birthday. So we were founded almost 8 years ago, right here. So coming up soon. All right, let's reveal it. What is JP's surprise stream?
JP is doing marbles on stream, everybody's favorite one. If you don't know what this is, it's genuinely so much fun. JP is an incredibly talented streamer. He's basically going to be narrating this very goofy game called Marbles, where you race marbles.
It was not Space Team. I'm sorry. I did too.
No.
I'm sorry. All right, everybody. Thank you again for your attention, and we hope you're as excited about everything here as we are. We will catch you a little bit later on. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and happy hacking as always.
Happy hacking.
See you, everyone.
See y'all tomorrow.